Good evening. Thus spoke Zarathustra, the Tarantulas. Lo, this is the Tarantula's den. Wouldn't you see the tarantula itself? Here hangs its babe. Touch this, so that it may tremble. There, there comes the tarantula willingly. Welcome, tarantula. Black on your back is your triangle and symbol, and I know also what is in your soul. Revenge is in your soul. Wherever you bite, there arises black scrap. Will scrap with revenge. Your poison makes the soul giddy. Thus, though I speak to you in parable, who you make the soul giddy, you preachers of equality, tarantulas are you to me, and secretly revengeful ones. But I will soon bring your hiding places to the light. Therefore do I laugh in your face, my laughter of the height. Therefore do I tear at your web, that that your rays may lure you out of your den of lies, and that your revenge may leap forth from behind your word justice. Because for men to be redeemed from revenge, that is for me the bridge to the highest hope and a rainbow after long storms. Otherwise, however would the tarantulas have it, let it be very justice for the world to become full of the storms of our ve- vengeance. Thus too they talk to one another. Vengeance will be used and insult against all who are not like us. Thus do the tarantula hearts place themselves and will to equality, that itself shall henceforth be the name of virtue, and against all that has power will we raise an outcry. You preachers of equality, the tyrant frenzy of importance cries thus in you for equality. Your most secret tyrants' longings disuse themselves thus in virtue worlds, fretted conceit and surpassed envy. Perhaps your fathers conceit and envy in you break they forth as flame and frenzy of vengeance. What the father has hid comes out in the son, and oft have I found in the son the father's revealed secret. Inspired ones they resemble, but it is not the heart that inspires them, but vengeance. And when they become subtle and cold, it is not spirit, but envy that makes them so. Their jealousy leads them also into thinkers' paths, and this is the sign of their jealousy. They always go too far, so that their fatigue has at last to go to sleep on the snow. In all their la- lamentations, sounds vengeance, and all their e- eulogies in maleficence, and being judged seems to them bliss. But thus do I counsel you, my friends, distrust all in whom the impulse to punish is powerful. They are people of bad race and lineage. Out of their countenances peer the hangman and the sleuth hound. Distrust all those who talk much of their justice. In their souls not only honey is lacking, and when they call themselves the good and just, forget not that for them to be fa- Pharisees, nothing is lacking but power. My friends, I will not be mixed up and confounded with others. There are those who preach my doctrine of life, and are at the same time preachers of equality and tarantulas, that they speak in favor of life, though they sit in their den. These poison spiders and withdrawn from life is because they would thereby do injury. to those who to to those put they thereby to injury who have power at present, for with those the preaching of death is still most at home. Were it otherwise, then would the tarantulas teach otherwise, and they themselves were once the best world maligners and heretic burners. With these preachers of equality will I not be mixed up and confused, for thus speaks justice to me. Men are not equal, and neither shall they become so. What would be my love to the Superman if I spoke otherwise? On a thousand bridges and pyres shall they throng to the future, and always shall there be more war and inequality among them. Thus do my great love make me speak. Inventors of figures and phantoms shall they be in their hostilities, and with those figures and phantoms shall they yet fight with each other the supreme fight. Good and evil, and rich and poor, and high and low, and all names of values, weapons shall they be, and sounding signs that life must again and again overcome itself. Aloft will it build itself with columns and stairs, life itself into remote distances would it gaze, and out towards blissful beauties. Therefore does it require elevation, and because it require elevation, therefore does it require steps and variance of steps and climbers to rise strives lives, and in rising to overcome itself. And just behold, my friends, here where the tarantula's den is, rises aloft an ancient temple's ruins. Just behold it with enlightened eyes. He who had towered aloft his thoughts in stone knew as well as the wisest ones about the secret of life, that there is struggle and inequality even in beauty, and war for power and supremacy. That does he here teach us in the plainest parable, how divinely to vault and arch here contrast in the struggle. How will light the shade they strive against each other, the divinely striving ones, thus steadfast and beautiful. Let us also be enemies, my friends, divinely will we strive against one another. Alas, there has the tarantula bit me myself, my old enemy, divinely steadfast and beautiful. It has bit me on the finger. Punishment must there be, and justice. So thinks it. Not gratuitously shall he here sing songs in honor of enmity. Yes, it has revenged itself, and alas, now will it make my soul also dizzy with revenge, that I may not turn dizzy. However, bind me fast, my friends, do this pillar. Rather will I be pillar saint than a world of vengeance. No cyclone or whirlwind is Zarathustra, and if he be a dancer, he is not at all a tarantula dancer. Thus spoke Zarathustra.